By this point, I'm sure you've heard about the tragic story of OceanGate's Titan submersible. The Titan was a small vessel designed to explore the wreck of the RMS Titanic over 3,800 meters below the surface. The Titan went missing on June 18th, and thinking that there was a race against the clock, an enormous search effort ensued until on June 23rd when it was confirmed that the craft had been crushed under the enormous pressure of the Atlantic Ocean under 2 hours into the voyage. But how did such a monumental failure happen? I'm Joe, and today on History Hobbit, we're exploring the fatal design flaws that led to Titan's demise. Let's start with a quick overview of the Titan submersible. The vessel was designed to go as deep as 4,000 meters underwater. The pressure at that depth is equivalent to an elephant standing on one leg and then 226 more elephants climbing on top. So yeah, it's a ton of pressure. Now the pressure combined with the darkness and the lack of communication with the surface is part of what makes ocean exploration so terrifying. The vessel was just over 10 tons in weight and with a number of different components, most notably the carbon fiber hull, which ultimately led to its failure. The issue with carbon fiber is that it can weaken over time when put under extreme pressure. Titan had already been on several successful trips previously, but something clearly happened internally that rendered the hull no longer safe. That's where the second safety measure was supposed to come into play. The Titan was outfitted with a complex audio monitoring system that was designed to alert the crew to any carbon fiber failure in time to allow the vessel to surface. The system was designed to record and then report any frequency changes within the hull, and that should have alerted OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush that the craft was in no condition for another voyage. The audio monitoring technique is a very new field though, and it wasn't trusted by many industry experts. So why would Rush use a material that wasn't up to the job? Well, stick around to the end to find out, and I guarantee the answer is gonna surprise you. James Cameron, the director of Titanic and an avid submariner, also pointed out that carbon fiber is used safely in aerospace and aviation applications, but it's not rated for the pressure of 4,000 meters of ocean water. He added that OceanGate never went through a certification process either. It wasn't peer-reviewed by other engineering groups, and that was a critical failure. Not only was the use of carbon fiber concerning, the cylindrical shape of Titan also raised huge red flags, as that shape is far less effective at distributing pressure evenly compared to a sphere. A sphere is the perfect shape for a deep sea watercraft, as each area receives the exact same amount of pressure. The Titan's extended passenger cab put enormous pressure in the sub's midsection. The Marine Technology Society penned a letter to Stockton Rush back in 2018 stating that they had serious concerns about the design of Titan that could result in catastrophic failures. Besides the hull and the cylindrical shape of Titan, it's also worth pointing out that the circular window at the front of the craft was only rated to 1,300 meters of ocean depth, which is only a third of the depth of Titanic. On a historic level, I find it ironic and deeply saddening that this disaster happened in the very same place that Titanic went under 111 years ago. The parallels between the two events are heart-wrenching, mainly because they were both so easily preventable. Titanic shouldn't have been traveling so fast through iceberg-infested waters, and it certainly should have had enough lifeboats for everyone on board. Likewise with the Titan, that submersible craft should have never gone into the water with the way it was designed, certainly not at the depth that it was being used. Titanic Captain Edward Smith and OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush both refused to heed the warnings from the experts that surrounded them. They, along with their passengers, paid a terrible price for that. Remember I mentioned the reason why Stockton Rush used carbon fiber? Well, OceanGate claimed that carbon fiber was lighter weight and more efficient to mobilize, but the real reason they used it was much more disturbing. According to Travel Weekly's editor-in-chief, Annie Wiseman, who was actually invited by Rush to join the expedition, but smartly declined, Rush had acquired the carbon fiber used to make Titan at a big discount from Boeing, and that was because it was past its shelf life for use in airplanes. And I have to say, it sounds like a great idea to buy expired material and then turn around and use it in an application with hundreds of times more pressure. So ultimately, Rush used the material he did because of money. He was able to get carbon fiber much more cheaply than an industry standard and safe material, and he figured by using a less expensive material, he could squeeze more profit out of the OceanGate venture. Money and greed led to the death of Rush and his passengers, and that's a profoundly sad realization. Another terrifying part of this story is the fact that the passengers inside almost certainly knew what was happening at the very instant when the vessel was crushed under that enormous pressure of the ocean. To learn more about those terrifying final moments, check out my video right here. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope you learned something from today's video, and please subscribe to to History Hobbit for more great content. I'll see you next time.